Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is ProblemSolvHer Podcast, a really cool, fun, innovative space where myself, Chloe, and my co-host
Dagmar.
Maggie's in the house discuss topics from all different ranges. And the reason why I said gentlemen is because 25% of our listeners are men, and we appreciate you. And it's very interesting, Dagmar, because I checked my analytics on TikTok. They don't show you on Instagram unless you're verified in your Kim Kardashian, what percentage and where they're coming from in the world, but TikTok does. And 70% on TikTok are men right now. It changes every week, but it's like between 65. Men are smart. They want to know what ladies are saying.
I think
So
ladies are smart too.
Yeah.
For 50-50.
So cool. So what are we talking about today?
Pressure to stay youthful.
Well, speaking of youthful, I have no makeup on. I barely have lip gloss on, and I haven't washed my hair in 4 days. And I'm not afraid to say that because as women, there's so much pressure. Makeup, facials, nails on, washing your hair every 2 days, straightening it, drying it. It's exhausting thinking about facials and wearing all the makeup and putting the fake eyelashes on and getting Botox. This is us in our natural state, ladies. And you can still look youthful without doing all those things because if you think about it, youthful, the true meaning of it is the essence of your core, who you are organically, for me. And I mean, if I have to get a facelift when I'm 65, I'll deal with that then. But, what are your thoughts?
From my midlife experience, I look the best when I don't overstress, when I can stay in my inner peace, loving my life, loving what I do. Then my facial expressions, they're pretty soft and I have high energy. And when I look in the mirror, I think, wow, you look good. When I'm under stress and I cannot really think, just go, 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 then I can see like the worry features in my face, and then I feel old. So for me, youthfulness, and without a question that you can do that externally, right? Looking more youthful, looking younger, makeup, the hair done, your outfit and everything. And the energy you put in that, it's only for something which you have for a very, very short period of time. And you have to redo it, right? And then the less you feel like doing it, the more energy you have to put in it. So the question is, where do you want to put your energy? Do you want to put your energy in creating a happy life? Or do you want to put your energy in something that gives you the impression of being youthful, but only as long as you hold this maintenance status?
Well, first of all, I don't want to hear the word old because you're in your 50s, and a lot of people that are 65 or 70 will be offended because there's no such thing as old in your 50s. But age is relative. It's just your chronological number. And I truly believe in that. I mean, look at Kris Jenner, just turned 70 years old, Kim Kardashian's momager. 70. Okay, fine. She's had work done. Please don't get me wrong, but she looks phenomenal. And her boyfriend's like 25 years younger. That's what keeps her youthful. And that's probably why I date older men. Older. Whoa. Yeah, why I don't date older men is because the younger ones keep me youthful. But I agree with what you said. When we feel stressed or anxiety or things are going on, we're not sleeping well, I'll go in the mirror and be like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And then if you get a really good night's sleep, or let's say you get a couple hours on the beach where you're outside, when you're traveling on vacation, you have low stress, even though you might be eating and drinking a lot, and you still look good. The sun's on your face, you're happy, you're with people you love. Also, I find that when I'm dating someone new, people are, wow, you're glowing. You look really good. Like, what's different? Because you're just kind of like in a new frame of mind and you're feeling good about somebody. So I really appreciate what you're saying. Your attitude has a lot to do with how you look and how you feel inside and the energy you're putting out into the universe.
Yeah. What you just said, when you date somebody new and then you have the glow. Yesterday, I listened to a podcast from Diary of a CEO where a brain scientist talked about that we really can control in what part of the brain we want to stay. So the one part is logical, structured, planning ahead. The other part is creative and staying in the present, right? And at the end, really all what we have is the here and now. So I think when you date somebody new, you're so much more in the present. You don't worry about the past. You really don't worry about the future, depending on your attachment style. But you really don't worry about the future. You just want to enjoy the moment, right? And I believe it's all connected. So more you can stay present and consciously focus on creating high energy, light, not darkness, and seeing the positive opportunities and not only what pulls you down. This high energy creates a youthfulness, not just how you look, but look at you, how you express yourself, right? Not thinking or sounding like a person who has nothing left anymore in life. And I don't say old because a lot of the older people sound more youthful many times than the younger people who perhaps are more depressed about it. So I think to summarize that, youthfulness is really holistically seen, including your mental usefulness, spiritual, emotional, and physical.
It's funny because I'm just thinking of social media because it's so big today. One of the reasons why Mark Zuckerberg and Jesse Eisenberg played him in the movie, The Social Network, was a really good movie. Justin Timberlake was in it too. Was that they wanted to find girls that they had hooked up with previously or dated to see what they looked like now, right? I'm using now in quotations
Now, it's a
because,
movie.
yeah, it's a movie. It's called The Social Network. You never heard of it? Okay. Well, it's the story of how Mark Zuckerberg's, why they started Facebook. And it was only supposed to be on college campuses for like seniors, so 21-year-olds. And they wanted to see what girls they had dated previously, maybe freshman year in high school. And you would go on and see, the photos they put on to see if they still look good and if they're dating anyone new now. And it's interesting because I find a lot on social media, a lot of the young girls and men too are very focused on, a lot of it is health and beauty. But I'm also seeing, and it's just not something I knew growing up or even saw in the last 10 years, where younger women today are really focused on like Botox at an early age and all these other things. And if you if you do your research, a lot of the doctors will say, and they're the ones giving out this Botox and, doing the collagen and all the stuff, is that if you don't do the upkeep on it, right? So and I'm happy to be honest about this. I've only had Botox on my forehead. I just get like 2 lines right here. That's all I've ever done. Haven't done my eyes, any other parts of my face, just here. However, if you don't keep it up, it comes back stronger. So then what happens is now you're like constantly, it's all about the upkeep at a young age. And I wish these young beauties would just like let their look in your face in your 20s is going to look good regardless, unless, and this is the caveat, you spend too much time in the sun, because my mom is always yelling at me about this. It's vitamin D, and the sun is good for us, but you also want to protect yourself and wear a hat and put zinc on your face, because if you don't, by the time you're 35, it could look a little different. And then I also notice people that consume substances and smoke cigarettes still might look a little different also because it affects the way your skin looks. And that could be at a young age. I mean, look at Jane Fonda, Helen Mirren, Brad Pitt, 62 years old, looking like a 45-year-old recovering alcoholic and is like really into health and wellness and fitness now. Woo! So the chronological age has nothing to do with staying youthful or looking good. It's like you said, your attitude, the vibe, and how you take care of yourself.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the pressure to look youthful.
Ooh, so much pressure.
Why?
Well, it goes back to social media. What I'm saying, I mean, if you go on there, and I'm new to TikTok, it's only been a month, and my highest rated video happened by accident a couple days ago. I have 4,000 views. And they say in your first month, if you can even get up to 1,000 is good on one. I'm wearing like a sweatshirt. My hair's in a bun. I'm not here looking pretty at all. And I was just asking women if you can wear knee high boots in Florida any time of the year, because the other day before it got cold, it was like 85 out. And I saw 3 different girls with knee highs on it. I'm like, I did an analogy. It reminds me, it would be like if I was in New York in the Hamptons and girls were wearing leather boots all the way up to the knee in Montauk, like on the beach. It would be kind of weird. And there was a lot of comments about women defending, we want to feel good. It doesn't matter that we don't have real 4 seasons here. And if we want to whip the boots out, we're going to do it. And it's our prerogative and it makes us. And then other women were like, absolutely not. It's like wearing flip flops in the snow, which I love. I thought that was great. And the reason I'm bringing up this story is people are very proud to wear what they want to wear. I think part of the pressure of being youthful also is how you dress. And people are really obsessed with brands today and labels and dressing as fancy as they can. But in reality, it's just about feeling good in your own skin. I mean, you've seen Dad, Papa, Robbie. My dad dresses like a 30-year-old, like literally wears sneakers like a 30-year-old, and his shirts don't match the shorts. And it's like his style. You wouldn't think he's his age, which I'm not allowed to stay on here either, because then I'm in trouble, big trouble. So the pressure about it is everyone is trying to top somebody else and look better and look more youthful and have on nicer clothes and have on better makeup and getting better facials and all these things. So then it puts the younger generation of women in competition with each other. And then I think you have this gap. I think, like, you know, this when you're in your 30s, you don't care. You think you're perfect. So I think we can like skip the 30s era. And then when you get back into your 40s, whether you're divorced with kids or still single, you kind of feel like, uh-oh, I'm now in this group and I have to really get it together. And now I have pressure to go out and get dressed up and feel good and put on the heels. And I think that's where a lot of pressure comes from.
I think pressure comes from the outside, comes from the environment.
Mm-hmm.
If you live in a small community and perhaps you grew up there and then you get married and you have children and perhaps your parents live there, grandparents, whatever, everybody knows you, the pressure of being youthful is barely there, right? Because you go through the different stages. First, you're a child, a teenager, a young adult. You get married, or you're a couple, then you get married, then you're a mother, right? And then at one point, you're an aunt and then a grandmother. So the pressure of being youthful is not in this environment, because this environment is more hoping or expecting that you fit into the role you're in, right?
Mm.
That you present yourself as the mother or you present yourself as grandmother. So I see the pressure comes when you're in a business environment, which is very competitive, and you compete with younger people and you don't want to be the old one. Or when your hobbies or your desires are more what younger people do,
Mm-hmm.
and you really want to fit in and you don't want to stick out as the oldie still doing whatever, skateboarding, dancing, things like that. I think the pressure of being youthful comes a lot of being competitive or wanting to fit in.
Yes, I agree with some of what you're saying, but I think it also depends on the individual. Growing up in Jamaica, and I like to call, I can't say it impactful because then it won't translate and then people will understand. People of all ages, okay, are friends. And I, in my 20s, was hanging out with my aunties and going to parties when they were in their 50s. And for me, I have a lot of neighbors like Ashley, who was on here, and girls in my building that I'm friends with that are a lot younger than me. And I don't feel like when I go out with them that I'm the older one. Like we had that really cool, it was a great group. It was about 35 people that came to one of our release events. We're going to have more in the neighborhood, a series of for Problem Solve Her. And I have to be honest, the people that were there, I will tell you right now, my next door neighbor came, she's only 24. I had people there from 24 to in their 70s. So I think it's also a state of mind. I think that younger women today are looking to hang out with older women because they're getting the insight, they're getting that experience from them. I mean, I can't tell you how many girls in the building are like, can you be my older sister? I'm like, I can only take on a few of you right now because, I have my own stuff I'm doing, but I love that they say that. So yes, to an extent, but I don't know how to skateboard, so I don't want to say that, but I'll go dance anywhere. I'll still jump on a table and have a dance. I'll go out sometimes in my neighborhood to bars with some of the neighbors and the crowd's really young and I'll just have a drink. I don't say, oh, I feel uncomfortable or I need to be, I'm not going to look like that anymore. That's okay. And then, we'll go down like half a block later and go to the bar where the 40-year-olds are hanging out. But you're right, though, the competition and the sense of I have to look a certain way. I don't want women to feel like that. It's like men. They're in a group of guys that, they're all buff and all the guys are really tall. And you've got like the cute little short king who's, slim but doesn't really work out. And he's like, all my friends are jacked up and they're all tall. But he wants to be in the group anyway. Like that guy for me has great confidence. It's important to surround yourself with people that believe in you because if they do, it doesn't really matter, if you go to a party with, say, 10 girlfriends and they're all dressed and the hair is done and the eyelashes and the lipstick and they all have on heels and you're just dressed on with flats and no one says to you, well, why aren't you dressed? Look at us. You want to walk in and they go, oh, don't you look cute. Thank you. These are the people I want to be around.
We would like to take a moment in this episode to thank our sponsors. Palm Beach Dog Academy is located right here in the heart of sunny South Florida. Founded by Jeff Nelson, who did his training at the Harvard of Dog Training Academies at the Tom Rose School in Missouri. I can say firsthand that Jeff not only has the credentials and the experience, he knows how to train dogs properly. He trained my beloved Oscar, our furry favorite guy who lived till 19 years of age. For more information about Jeff's packages and his academy, please visit palmbeachdogacademy.com.
Okay, let's do straight talk.
Okay.
My Chloe wants to be youthful. My Chloe does not want to be old. Definitely.
But I feel youthful. I don't feel old. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Preferable, younger, the younger the better, right?
Wait, hold on. I don't want people thinking I'm trying to date guys in college. Please don't say the words. The
No, I
younger the
mean
better.
you. No. I mean that people look at you and if they guess your age, oh, why do you want to look youthful?
It's multiple things. One is I will admit this. I'm an ageist in the sense that I don't want to I want to obviously age gracefully. I think I will. Both of my parents look really good for their age. My brother looks great. My grandparents, I had 3 that lived over 90. My great grandma was 98. I have good genes, so I'm feeling really confident in that area. It's that all of a sudden I was like 25 yesterday and it hits you and you're like, wow. So on the one hand, the chronological number doesn't mean anything to me. And I don't want to discuss my actual age on here. And it's not about people knowing what's Chloe's real age. It's about I'm as young as I feel and as young as I want to be. And I can tell anyone whatever age I want because they're not paying my bills and they are not no, I'm serious. They're not paying my bills and they're not doing my tax returns for me. So in that sense, And it's fine. And we can do real talk on it. It's just the fact that I can't believe how fast things go. And I'm like my dad, I'm very nostalgic. All my friends, my bestest, longest friends are since 8th grade. And Amanda was on her, you met her. And we talk about it. We're like, how did we get here? Like, we were just running around New York City in the bars, paying $7 a drink, because that's what it was then, a happy hour, and meeting different guys and going to events and just like laughing and like, being out till 3 in the morning and still get up and go to work on a Friday and not be tired. It's the shift in the paradigm of where did everything go? I don't feel old. I don't think I'm an old age because I'm not. It's more or less, I just like to feel as young as I can for as long as I can. And that has nothing to do with physical appearance. It has to do with my mindset.
Yeah, I agree with you.
What about you? I mean, no one wants to get older. If we could all take a pill tomorrow for $500 a
No,
year to
no.
stay young. Oh, you wouldn't?
Look, Wilfred says
Wow.
no.
That's a hard no. The spirits are speaking.
Wilfred
Freddie is
says
not
no, and
having
here's
it.
why. If I can have what I know today, then yes, I want to be younger. If I cannot have that, oh God, no.
No,
No,
of course.
no,
I'm saying right now, let's say this is a great question. If a pill came out and people are living longer, right? The longevity is going up. If we
right.
found out hold on, let me finish. If we found out at the end of next year, your age that you are now, anyone, and they said this is only for people over, I'm giving you an example, 50 years old, it's FDA approved. If you take this pill once a year, it's $500 a year, it's not covered in insurance, you will stay looking as youthful as possible. The brain can't be controlled, right? Some people are 95, like my 91-year-old from Germany, who's sharper than anybody I know. Her brain. Does she physically look her age? No, she probably looks in her low 80s. I'm asking you if you could take that and look a certain way. Would you? Yes or no?
No. And here's why.
Okay.
This will change my cells, my DNA, and everything of who I am. I don't want to be changed. Not for looking younger. I want to be exactly the person I am now. I worked hard for that, to get to that point. Like, I went through a lot of failure, experienced a lot of emotional and mental pain to get to the point where I'm today. I love myself today. I did
It
not
has
love
nothing to do with
myself.
not loving yourself at all. You know me. Nobody loves themselves more than
Okay,
me.
your question to me was, would I take a pill? No, because
Okay.
a pill would change my DNA.
Okay.
From my perspective. So I'm the oldest, but I was always the youngest in my job. I was always the youngest of the youngest. I always worked with older colleagues. In my friends group, I always was the youngest, always had older friends and then older husbands. And I was used to everybody would guess my age like at minimum 10 years younger, a minimum. Normally was like 12, 13, sometimes 15. So you get used to it, right? You get used to everybody thinks you're not really the age you are. So you just get used to it. Everybody, it states they ask you for your ID. If you can, whatever, buy cigarettes or drink or whatever. So you used to it. And then there came the year where suddenly nobody asked me for my ID anymore. Nobody guessed my age wrong. They guessed my age close to my real age. And that was the moment where I thought, wow, it caught up. Wow. And if I look in the mirror, I don't see it, but there has to be something. And I saw it with my friends 10 years ago when they were over 50. Something shapes differently. You can see a little bit the life you experienced in your wrinkles, in your facial expressions or whatever. So think if you don't do any work, right, on the body, I think there's an age where just aging naturally starts happening.
So what do you
And
think about someone? Yeah, no, listen, I see both sides because I'm very split. what do you think about somebody like Madonna, who is in her 60s and she's always had an incredible body. That was part of her image. But she's had so much work done to look like her face. Go Google it right now while we're like a 45-year-old, and she's dating a guy in her 20s.
But good
Obviously,
for
she
her.
wants, so it's like she wants to
It's
say,
her.
yeah,
I mean, for what I would find challenging the fans of Madonna, if they feel the pressure,
they
right,
do. Of
to
course
follow
they
that.
do. Of course. When
So
you're a
because they
public
want,
figure, yeah,
right? So if you make the decision for yourself, you want to have work done, go for it. I mean, whatever works for each of us to look in the
but it does
mirror
put
and to,
pressure, to answer your question. It does on the younger
yeah,
generation of followers,
yeah,
like
right.
Kim Kardashian's sister, Kylie Jenner, who said, I had my boobs done very young. I had my nose, I had this, I had that. And so now all these girls in their early 20s are getting their boobs done already. They're getting their nose done. They're getting Botox already. They're doing all these things because they want to look a certain way. When I was growing up, when our mothers had facelifts, so to speak, no one talked about it. Now today, it's like everyone's putting it out on social media. Their scars, they're this. Look what I had done. This is me. I got this. I got that. So there's pressure from so many different angles. It's like a professional athlete who is from a totally different side where they try to do things naturally and organically, and they eat a certain way and a certain amount of calories, and they only drink water, and they go to sleep at this time, and they weigh all their food, and they want to be professional athletes. And then they pound their bodies really, really
Well,
hard. So they have to retire at 38 years old.
We would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Cafe Bastille originated in Miami, now has a location in downtown Fort Lauderdale for almost 2 years. Located steps from Las Solas and sitting on the canal, I can personally say I frequent there often. Their lattes are wonderful, hot or cold. The velvet pancakes just melt in your mouth. The pommes frites are on point, and the bottomless mimosas for brunch all day long are absolutely fabulous. For more information, please go to cafebastilledowntown.com.
so
I mean,
here's how I looked at. We all looking for our tribe, right? And we all looking for belonging. And you and I know to feel belonging within you takes a lot of work, right? Takes a lot of being willing to see yourself, how you really are, with all your good and all your bad sides, and not only to make decisions how you want to be, but executing it, failing it, executing it, failing it, executing it, and then getting to it where we are today. Like, I think you and I are born humanitarian, but also we all have phases in our life where we made huge amount of money, could have all the luxury we want. And we had to make conscious decisions to stay the humanitarian, to stay the
right.
person we are, and not letting the shining light change who we are. Right? So I see the pressure of staying youthful comes a lot of with, I did not find myself yet.
Right.
And I want to belong to the group who's the young and successful, single, ready to mingle, or married, having the picket fence house and the children, right? I want that. I want what they have. I think long term, it makes you miserable. Perhaps short term, it's great.
Right. It's like
Middle
instant
term,
gratification. I agree.
right? Middle term, perhaps you don't feel right, but you're comfortable, right? Now you have the money, you have the family, you have the picket house. Perhaps you have a yacht. Perhaps you have anything you can afford or ever dreamed of, but there's still something missing within you.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it life, my cousin used to say this. And when I say cousin, she's my dad's age. I worked for her in New York on Long Island in the Hamptons. The Hamptons are famous. Everyone knows it's where all the celebrities go in the summer. She had a very event and catering company called Food & Co. I was the events manager for like 4 summers in a row. I don't need to drop the names because I Gwyneth Paltrow, Alan Alda, Spielberg, she's the biggest clients, but she built it up and it took years. And I remember one summer, it was my first summer, and I was working in her office and we didn't even have time to go to the bathroom. And I went, this is a lot of work. And I was in my 20s. And she said, I want to explain something to you. And I'm telling you this now because I love you. Life is difficult. If you think life is easy, you are dreaming. Life is hard. And it goes by what you're saying about being miserable and all these things. People have to understand that if you think you're going to walk around like little roses and daisies every single day, life can be so difficult. It can be beautiful, but life's hard. And for all the people that think if you grow up with money or if you can get certain things done to stay youthful, or if you can become famous or an athlete, everybody has hard times. Life is not easy. It doesn't matter who you are or how you were brought up or where you end up in your life. We have to just remember that if you believe in yourself, because this is always going to be my number one thing, if you believe in who you are, none of that other stuff matters. It doesn't matter if you're not the coolest in the group. It doesn't matter if you have all your friends are rich and you're not, because I know people like that growing up. It doesn't matter if you're in a community where you're the only Jewish kids around. I felt that sometimes. Or if you're the only Black person in your class, whatever it may be. It's like work the beach, bitch. Shine like the star that you are and just be true to you. That's it. Just be true to who you are and people will like you organically.
Yes.
That's
I love watching the Vikings because for whatever reason, I feel like very rooted in that culture. And I love Lagertha, the leading female Viking role. And I think I watched all of them. And here's my takeaway, because I adored her. Oh my God, what she had to go through, right? Married, cheating husband, lost the husband, and then lost her position and left the village. And they followed her. She had to fight again. And then at the end, she died through the action of her enemy's sons. So she is on a boat in the biggest storm, and a younger shield maiden with her child, they were scared to die. And she said to Lagertha, Lagertha, what should I tell my children? What is life? And Lagertha said, life is suffering. And then the shieldman said, I cannot tell that, my children. Life is suffering. Like, there's no hope. Like, what's the hope for them? And then she said, the beauty is to find, the goal is, or the key is to find the beauty in suffering. And this is what it is, Chloe. The pressure of being youthful. If you believe you are youthful, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what somebody else says. It doesn't matter how somebody else looks. It doesn't matter what somebody else thinks. So the solution for me to take off the pressure of staying youthful is you decide you want to be youthful. You focus on positive energy, positive emotion. You take care of your body like it's a giving, right? You have to eat and to exercise in the way that your body can stay youthful, right?
That's a whole nother subject because women for the start of time until the end of time are always going to be hard on themselves about their body, whether they need to gain 10 pounds or lose 10 pounds, or that's a whole nother topic. But that is more than staying youthful is the thing that women are most insecure about, I think. I can say that personally, and every woman I know is about trying to maintain, and for health reasons, because when you get older, you don't want to be underweight or overweight. It's not good.
Right.
But that's a whole nother, we'll go there on another one.
Right. Okay. So my message is be yourself within.
We basically have very similar messages like we always do. Two different perspectives, two different backgrounds, but we always think very closely alike. So we hear you, we see you, and we love you. And find us on ProblemSolvHer.com. Now, Self coaching offering is available. And we're on the Instagram and the TikTok and YouTube and Spotify and Apple. We're everywhere you can find podcasts. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Just a quick note before we end. This conversation is for inspiration and empowerment only. It's not medical, mental health, or legal advice. We are not doctors, therapists, or lawyers. Just women sharing real stories and personal truth. Always seek professional guidance for your unique situation.